The readings for Tuesday, August 1st. The epistle reading is from St. Paul's letter to the Hebrews, chapter 11, verses 33 through 40, and chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Who through faith subdued kingdoms, worked righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, became valiant in battle, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Still others had trial of mockings and scourgings, yes, and of chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains, in dens and caves of the earth. And all these, having obtained a good testimony through faith, did not receive the promise. God having provided something better for us, that they should not be made perfect apart from us. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. All right, some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. So for this exact passage, I thought it sounded familiar, verses chapter 11, verse 33 through chapter 12, verse 2. It says that this passage is read on December 17th, the feast of the prophet Daniel. On August 1st, the procession of the cross, and on the first Sunday after Pentecost, called the Sunday of All Saints. We hit those other two, so that means we're going to be in door number 2 there, the middle one. Of course, today is August 1st, and that is why we're reading this. Today is also the start of the Dormition fast for 2 weeks, which, yes, is always marked by the procession of the cross. Commentator side note here, I'll give you a quick little history lesson. Basically, in the times of antiquity, almost couldn't say that, the high days of summer were, well, always stricken with disease. I mean, we didn't have modern medicine, we didn't have refrigeration or air conditioning. Airborne diseases like mosquitoes and stuff like that, they would typically run rampant around this time of year. So in the Byzantine Empire, in the cities where people were huddled together, namely Constantinople, they would process around town with holy water and with the cross. I'm pretty sure that for a large period of history, it was the actual cross, till that was lost in battle, and then gotten back, and then divided up, and yada yada. I could be wrong about that, but a cross, nonetheless, would always be processed through town to stave off disease, is what the idea was there. And yeah, that was always done on August 1st, today, and which, like I said, marks the start of the Dormition fast. So there you go. And for chapter 11, verse 37, The phrase sawn in two. Some traditions say that Isaiah was killed in this manner by Manasseh. See the pseudepigraphal martyrdom of Isaiah. See also 2 Chronicles chapter 24 verses 20 through 22, Jeremiah chapter 33 verses 20 through 23, 2 Micah chapter 6 verses 18 through 31, and Matthew chapter 23 verses 29 through 36. For chapter 11 verse 38, the word caves, it says to see 2 Micah chapter 6 verse 11 and chapter 10 verse 6. And for chapter 11 verse 40, it says to see chapter 9 verse 15. Christ's incarnation and all that he accomplished for us in the flesh redeems the Old Testament saints, who by faith participate in his resurrection and his kingdom. For chapter 12 verse 1, the cloud of witnesses includes not only the Old Testament saints mentioned in chapter 11, but also the saints and martyrs of the Lord in all ages. If they made it, so can we. We persevere by getting rid of sin, the weight which keeps us from heeding the truth, setting as our destination the heavenly city, running the race of faith, and keeping our attention focused on Jesus Christ, our Lord and King, as noted in chapter 12, verse 2. This race is not a sprint, but a marathon of endurance. It does not end until we fully enter the age to come. See 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. And for chapter 12, verses 2 and 3, so just one more verse past where we read here today, it says, Christ is both the author, that is, the initiator, and the finisher, that is, the perfecter of faith. His joy was to do God's will. He endured the cross in that he voluntarily accepted humiliation and death. We are to imitate his determination and perseverance. The gospel reading is from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verses 16 through 22. Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils and scourge you in their synagogues. You will be brought before governors and kings for my sake, as a testimony to them and to the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. Now brother will deliver a brother to death, and a father his child, and children will rise up against parents and cause them to be put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but he who endures to the end will be saved. All right, some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. So for this exact passage, verses 16 through 22, it says that this passage is read on days commemorating holy martyrs and on August 1st, the feast of the Procession of the Cross, which once again, of course, is today. For verse 16, Jesus instructs the disciples to be wise as serpents so that they might not be unnecessarily wounded, and that they might take all advantage in the spread of the gospel. He also tells them to be as harmless as doves, so that they should not retaliate against those who do them wrong, and should be blameless in their witness of the gospel. And that is it for today, everybody. Hope you guys have a blessed fast if you are participating. Like I said, it's only 2 weeks, but canonically it is to be taken as strictly as Lent. So, we throw the Theotokos her rightful due. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the week. And please, as always, include me, a sinner, in your prayer lists. It's very, very, very appreciated. Thank you. Take care.